Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Stepping Up to the Plate. I'm your host, Michael Vega. So glad you could join us here after our brief hiatus last week. And by the start of this, I want to wish my main man, Al Prezzuti, a happy belated birthday, Al. We were able to get together at Steel and Ryan to celebrate a little bit on the day before. Last week, we were on hiatus, and that was the week of Al's birth week. How did you spend it, Al? How do you feel? What's going on, my man?
Well, I mean, I stopped acknowledging after 70 any birthdays.
Come on now.
No, you know, we went out to dinner. We had a beautiful dinner, my wife and I, and then the kids, ones that are living in this area, came over on Sunday, and you know.
So they had a nice traditional cake. Italian feast for Papa.
Yeah, enough cake.
Oh, no. Well, that's great, my man. Happy birthday. All the best. Al, so much has happened between, since you turned the pages of the calendar here, another year, and what has happened now with the NBA Finals, the NHL Finals. Now we have the final participants set in the NBA. It's going to be the Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's shaping up to be an epic NBA Finals, I think. And then you have another epic rematch in the NHL Stanley Cup Finals between the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers. Remember last year how that went down. And of course, Boston now has a bit of a rooting interest with Brad Marchand. I think a lot of people are interested to see him hoist the cup one more time, yours truly included. I'd love to see that happen for him. And I think, it's made interesting or strange bedfellows, I think, amongst a lot of Bruins fans who cannot quite bring themselves to root for the Panthers because of the way they did in the Bruins in the past couple of years, and really they shut the window on the Bruins' window of opportunity to win another cup with Bergeron and Krejci and that group and Marchand as well, So a lot of, I think, a lingering bad blood, but, it's funny how sports makes interesting bedfellows here of us all with, with Marchand being there now. But your thoughts, Al, about the finals coming up?
Well, I think Oklahoma's going to win the series, and I'm not sure how great a series it's going to be because Oklahoma could win this in 5 or 6. Let me put it this way. If Oklahoma plays the way they can, the best they can, and the Pacers play the best they can, Oklahoma's going to win.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Now, I think the Pacers had a tough time with the Knicks. The Knicks played they were the surprise team because of the Celtics dropping out of it. I mean, let me put it this way. If the Celtics were losing anyways before Tatum went down, but I still think that I picked Oklahoma before the series started. The series meaning the finals.
Right,
that
the
they
semifinals,
were the best. Yeah. Now, on the other side, this is a conundrum for me because I'd love to see Marchand win the cup.
Yeah.
I don't dislike the Panthers. I think they're a great team to watch.
Good coach, too.
They do everything well.
Like Paul Morris.
And Carolina did everything. They do everything well, and Brenda Moore's a great coach, too. But the Panthers are just too deep.
Yeah.
The Oilers were there last year, didn't win. So I don't care if the Oilers win because, a Canadian team hasn't won it in X number of years.
And, of course, they invented the sport.
But they're also loaded with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl.
Front-loaded, though? Not as deep?
No. They picked up some guys on defense. They're okay. And then you got Trent Frederick from the Bruins playing for the Oilers, which would be an interesting thing. He hasn't scored. He never was a scorer anyways, but he plays hard. And he fits in very well with the Oilers.
Oh, I just thought of something. Wait for that moment when Trent Frederick tees up Marchand on a forecheck.
No. I don't think he'll do that. I'll tell you what, though. when you see Marchand playing with guys like
Reinhardt.
Reinhardt and Bennett. Bennett and Marchand have a history, but yet they played just alike.
Yeah.
Bennett's a pain in the neck.
Yeah.
He's a hard-nosed kind of player. So's Marchand.
And so's Kachuk, too.
And Kachuk. I mean, they've got, to me, they're the odds-on favorite to win the thing.
Yeah.
Edmonton could win it because, I mean, you can't, there's going to be games where you can't stop Connor McDavid or Draisaitl.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll win. Maybe in Edmonton they'll win those games, but it should be fun to watch. I mean, the Red Sox are not fun to watch. I mean, this is something.
Brilliant segue. Yeah. I mean, we all watched that game last night. We've watched these games.
I mean, come on. It's 3-3, and then it goes to the 10th inning. They get the bases loaded.
They had
and
a
on
lot
a double
of traffic.
play, they scored 4-3. The Red Sox put runners on first and second and can't get anybody over. Then two guys, Devis struck out. I mean, those are Abreu struck out.
Yes.
All you needed to do was get the guy to third base and hit a fly ball, and you tie the game.
Well, I thought that it was a blunder on the base pass too, when David Hamilton, who was brought into the game because of his speed, couldn't get from second to third on a deep fly to center.
I'll tell you, they overpaid for Campbell, meaning they gave the guy a 5-year or 6-year, whatever it was, for a 22-year-old kid that had never played.
He's hitting $141 right now, I think. But
he's making errors. He made a huge error the other night.
Here's the other thing too, Al. What made them believe that this kid was better than Mayer or Anthony right now?
Well, no, I don't think
so. What made them believe that those guys, weren't?
It wasn't anything.
Weren't major league ready.
It wasn't ready to do with the hitting because the Red Sox thought they had plenty of hitting. What it was they thought he could play second base. Meyer is a shortstop, can play third base. Anthony's an outfielder.
Did he play third base when he came up?
You know what? He did.
He made some great plays.
They've made so many errors. They lead the American League, the baseball, in errors. But when they bring in, I don't care who it is, Whitlock, the only guy that looks like they can't hit is Aroldis Chapman. And I knew that. Yeah. He's got a 1-point-something ERA. But they are miserable in the clutch.
Boy, let me tell you, he sent some chin music to one of those kids. It was a D'Arnaud, their catcher, and I thought, if he caught that kid, he's dead.
Yeah.
You know, with I mean, he's the only guy around the planet right now who's hitting 100 consistently. You know, but
I mean,
the thing about Campbell, and you raise an interesting point, Al. You know, and it was raised by colleague Alex Spear at the Boston Globe, but maybe the Sox ought to think about sending him down for a little seasoning, that he may be due for a bit of a reset.
I don't think will.
Well, let's bring Roman Anthony up. But here's the thing I noticed, what the thing about Campbell is that he has a T-ball swing. He swings the bat like a T-baller, chopping at the ball. He's like chopping down at it, and not extending his arms and using the length and athleticism that he has to turn on a fastball, to drive it. He's chopping at a lot of stuff.
Well, he had 5 home runs, but he had them all in the first month.
Right.
Because nobody had seen him. Once you go through, once or twice through the league, they learn what you can't do. Like Devis.
Right.
You'll hear Maloney and they'll go, well, you can't throw him if you throw him a fastball up, he won't hit it.
Right.
But look at the Red Sox. I think are within weeks of trading out, and I know who's going to go, because they only get guys that somebody wants that they think has value.
Abreu.
Willie Abreu could be done here. I think that Story nobody's going to take because they think he's done, meaning done in his career. I'll tell you, Walker Buehler's gone. And he might end up back with the Dodgers. And I'll tell you, because the Dodgers want him back, for one. 2, he's no 2. He's a 3 at best.
Yeah. So who's going to be your 2?
Well,
Hunter Dobbins?
No, when they trade, they're going to get somebody that they think is going to either step into that spot. Look at Bale.
So if they trade with the Dodgers, would you ask for Clayton Kershaw in return?
No. I think they'd want. The Red Sox need young players.
How about Mookie Betts?
They're not going to do that.
I will package Walker Buehler and Wilyer Abreu.
No, what's his name? Connor Wong could be gone. Will Abreu could be gone.
And send Connor Wong back, right?
Yeah, well, Connor Wong can go back with, and then Buehler. They could get
Give us Mookie back.
They could get Brian Bello could go because somebody thinks he's got more ability. I don't think he's got that much ability. I think.
Well, you know what? He pitched very well last night out.
I'm not saying he doesn't have ability, but if you're looking for somebody, Pedro Martinez had him tabbed as the next Pedro Martinez. He's not there. Right. The Sox have a lot. Sox paid big money for Campbell, big money for Rafael. He's another one that could go, Cedeno Rafael, because then you got Anthony. And Devers. If you take those three contracts, one for 10, 11 years, that's Devers, Cedeno Rafael for 5 or 6 years, Campbell for 5 or 6 years, that's a lot of money put out for 3 ball players, only one who was really a star, and that's Devers.
Right.
I mean, that's a huge.
What do you think that gets you? What would that net you in return? Who would you go after?
Well, it depends on the package and the team that you're going for. To Pittsburgh, Philadelphia.
Pittsburgh, go get Paul Skeens?
Well, somebody is going to be available for a team that says, okay, we need, like Aroldis Chapman could get traded, only because big value. The Red Sox are done. They're not going anywhere.
No.
And
you know what? And I think that Alex Cora reached that realization last night.
Well,
with their 17th one loss of the season, and it grated. You could see that it just absolutely
what's grating
frustrated him to the point where he's resigned now to the fact that, hey, we're not a good team.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said this is a team that
keeps
can't
committing
get
the same things
better.
over.
Yeah, they keep making
the same
error
mistakes.
after error after error. That's what's killing them. I mean, their relief pitching has been so-so. Their starting pitching's been so-so, other than Crochet.
Yeah.
Starting pitching's been so-so. How you haven't seen him?
Oh no, you won't see him again. You won't see him again.
Put him in the bullpen, for Christ's sake. Let him pitch in the 6th or 7th inning.
Eat some innings. Yeah.
I don't know. It's not fun to watch because they're the Bruins.
So if you
baseball.
deal Walker Buehler and don't get a sufficient frontline starter in return, you're going to have a hole in your rotation that's going to have to be covered up by the bullpen with these bullpen games.
They got a couple of guys down in Woo that they brought up one. I mean, they got a guy that's from.
Well, they brought up Richard Fitz, and boy, he got lit up big time in the opener of the series. Al,
six.
I mean,
to
that point, he had pitched fairly well.
Yeah.
But didn't get any offensive support.
Well, I mean, when you play at Fenway Park, which is a hitter's ballpark, let's remember that it's a hitter's ballpark. So they come back on the road and they come in and play the Angels. Everybody figures, well, they'll win 2 out of 3. They're going to lose. They can lose all 3.
They may lose all 3.
So they play today, right?
Yeah.
Is it today?
Today is a getaway
afternoon.
Day. Yeah. So let me pose another interesting proposition for you. What if I come offering you the stars and the moon for Jarren Duran?
No, Jarren Duran could go. No question.
I would resist that. To me, he's analogous to getting rid of like Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum of the Celtics.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think he's a good ball player.
All-star.
Well, he was last year. He's
MVP.
He's nowhere near.
All-star game MVP.
Not having the year he had. That could have been an anomaly.
But you know what? He's the best player they have right now.
All-stars are all-stars year in and year out.
Al, that guy, if he's on base, he's standing on third.
I like him. I think he's a terrific type of player to watch because he goes from first to third. You know he's going to get to second base. The other night, he ended up on second base, and I think it was Campbell just barely made it to third. They scored a run on the play, but he was at second before the guy crossed home plate.
Right. He would have been there too, probably. But here's the thing, too. He creates chaos on the base paths. He and Hamilton can create chaos.
Yeah, but let me put it this way. can this team win with even with Jaron Duran on that? No.
Well,
So-
it can't be all on him.
No.
'Cause last night, let me tell you, he goes 2 for 4. He hits 2 doubles off the wall.
Right.
He drove in runs.
I understand.
And then he scored runs
But
too.
put yourself
so.
in Breslow's stand. He goes, look, we can't win with this team. And if I give up a guy like Duran and I can get 2 guys to fill 2 spots on my squad as opposed to 1, I
Well,
can
if
do
you
it. And I
unload
got-
salary too.
And I got Roman
if
Anthony.
if you unload salary.
But see, that in the back of their mind, they go, I got Roman Anthony. I could let Abreu
Well,
go. I could let Cedeno
I would say no.
Raphael.
I would keep Raphael. I would keep Durant. Bring up Anthony. Deal Wilyer Abreu with Walker
The only
Buehler
reason I wouldn't give up Abreu for
and
one reason.
maybe another guy.
He's a power hitter.
Connor Wong.
He's just too streaky.
What about Ref Snyder? Is he a trade chip for
He's
you?
gone. He's 34 years old. He said he didn't want to play this year, and he came back.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to give you anything for him unless you figure this is my last chance to make it, and this kid can hit lefties pretty well, and we'll bring him in for 1 for the rest of the season.
A rental,
Yeah, the Red Sox value.
a deal
if you
sweetener.
look at them.
a deal sweetener for you.
Oh, Bregman could go because he's got the thing in his
option.
contract
Oh, yeah.
that say I can get out of here.
I think he's out of here.
He could
But
be
you know
out.
what? That speaks ill of him.
No, I think it's because he's saying I thought this team was better than what it is, and I'm not gonna stay here for 3 more years.
But then
Yes.
the statement he made in spring training is going to live to haunt him.
Well, maybe.
You know, I'm a winning ball player, and I'm here because this is a winning ball team.
And it's not.
And it's not. It's clearly not that. And if you're a winning ball player, what are you going to do to make it a winning ball team?
So if you look at the Red Sox and you're Breslow, not Cora because Cora's more involved with the players, but Breslow who looks and says, if I gave up Bregman, if I gave up Duran, if I gave up Aroldis Chapman, those are 3 guys that are going to get you huge things back.
But you're taking away the things that give you an opportunity to be better.
No, they weren't better this year. They're on a bad team.
I mean,
you got to fill some spots here for this team. They need pitching.
No doubt.
You know, pitching and defense wins. And what's the 2 worst things?
If you're going to do that, why not just deal Garrett Crochet then?
No, well, because first of all, Crochet is close to a number one. Close. He's not completely there, but I mean, if I'm going to throw him out there, I feel comfortable.
Remember who was your number 1 last year?
No.
Bale.
Yeah, well, Bayo.
Bale was your number 1.
See, another thing, the Red Sox seem to overrate their talent too quick. I'm not saying that.
I think so. Yeah.
You know,
I think you're right about that. I mean, they clearly did that in the case of Christian Campbell. Yeah. You know, and then they bring up Mayer, and here he is, you know, with 3 opportunities to affect the outcome of the first game he's in, and he strikes out. All 3 times.
I mean, he's an okay player, but you know, when you come up to the bigs, forget what you did in the minors.
It's a different game.
Now you got guys that every guy that you're facing can strike you out or get you out or has better stuff. I mean, don't forget, these guys are playing against guys in the minor leagues that have maybe 1 or 2 pitches. You know what's coming, so you can hit. When a ball player knows what's coming, he can hit it. When you don't know, when a guy's got 4, like the kid for Texas that we used to have, Evaldi, 5 pitches.
Yeah.
So you're up there like this. Now, last night.
So, I raised the question, why can't we get guys like that? Like an Evaldi back here.
Did you see what happened last night when Aroldis Chapman threw the ball and they almost hit the guy in the head?
Yeah, I was telling you.
What did he do?
Yeah.
That kid was coming out to the mound.
Oh, like he's got to.
He walked 3 or 4.
Like he's got to take on Aroldis Chapman.
No, and when you throw that ball so close, and then Whitlock did the same thing.
Well, that was clearly you could see by the body language of Garrett Whitlock that
it was a mistake.
Total.
Yeah.
And you know what? If I'm seeing, if he's peacocking around the mound, I have a problem with. As a batter, I would have a problem with that.
But Aroldis Chapman.
But when I saw when he's out his hand and he's like, oh my God, I almost killed this guy.
Yeah, but it wasn't even as close as Aroldis
now as a batter,
Chapman.
it makes me concerned about, does this guy have control of this ball?
Well, Aroldis Chapman, I would feel that way. First of all, because he has a history.
I'll share an interesting story about that, Al. As a pitcher, you have, in that instance, you have the biggest advantage. And from personal experience, we're going to Wayback Machine. My first game I ever pitched in a Little League game was in the city championship. I'd never pitched a game. Our pitchers got absolutely pummeled. And so a guy puts me in. And I've never pitched a game in my life. But he played pepper with me, and he saw that I had a fastball. So I'm in there warming up, and all the coaches on the league there, it's in there. I said, do you have a curveball? Do you have that? I said, no, I have one pitch. So I go out there, throw the first pitch, bean the guy right in the butt. So he takes his base. Second guy comes up. I bean him right in the back. He takes his base. Now I got 2 men aboard. The third guy comes up shaking. Doesn't know. I just threw it anywhere near the strike zone. Struck him out.
Oh, you can see it.
Struck him out. But they were like deadly afraid of me.
You know? It's a funny thing when you listen. I was listening, believe it or not, I've done this. I know you're going to go, oh, here we go. I was listening to Ted Williams.
Who?
I have a 34
Never heard of him before.
I have a 34-minute tape of Ted talking about baseball recollections.
Yeah.
And I remember if I was there, and there were only 10,000 people there, but I happened to be there. I went to the lat and I was close. Anyways, that was the last at bat. When
you were one of the kids there?
One of the 10, yeah. Well, anyways, it was funny because he said, the first time I came up, he said, the guy threw me this pitch. It's kind of funny in a way. He said that he goes, and he wasn't going to give me anything. And he said, I walked. The next time up, he said, I hit a fly ball deep. If the wind was blowing out, I would have hit a home run there.
Yeah.
He said, they brought Fisher in. He said, and then the third time up, I did the same thing. I hit a fly ball deep to the warning track. He said, then he said, he threw me the next time I came up, which I knew was my last at bat. He said, he threw me this pitch, and for crying out loud, I missed it. Now, this is what Ted said. How the hell do you miss a ball like that? Now,
wow. Revelation for you, right?
Well, the point I'm getting at is that he knew what he wanted to hit.
Right.
And when he missed it, he couldn't believe he missed it. These guys can't believe when they hit it.
Right. Right.
I mean, when Aroldis Chapman throws 100 miles an hour up
and
here.
And you bump into a hit. Yeah.
Most of these guys. And then he hit a home run.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating to hear a great ball player, a great hitter, talk about, like Warren Spahn, he said, I'm a lefty, and this guy was a lefty. He was a pretty tough guy.
Yeah.
And somebody asked him, Pete Reynolds. Pete Reynolds came to the Red Sox from the Washington Senators. And the year that Williams hit 328, he won the batting crown. And they asked him about it. John Underwood does the thing. I'll see if I can't print it off for some reason. Yeah. But Underwood says to him, well, what happened there? He said, well, he said, this is going to sound like something stupid. He said, but I was hoping that Pete Reynolds, he said, look, I wanted to win. I said, I'm never going to not try to hit.
Right.
But I would have liked to have seen Pete Reynolds win. If he won, I wouldn't have been all upset. He said, when we come into the last day and we're both hitting 325, he said, and I pulled away from him. I hit 328 and he hit 320, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And he said, I can't believe I won a batting crown at 325, 328. And then he's 38 years old, he hit 388. Wow. You realize that that's 4 hits away from 400 at 38 years old.
Wow, 388. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable. Well, incidentally, we only got 4 minutes left. A little, I wanted to talk about Scheffler.
Yeah. He's on a roll.
Well, you know what the difference is between him and everybody else?
Scotty Scheffler won the Memorial and the PGA.
Yeah, he's not an Arnold Palmer. He doesn't take chances. He's exactly like Jack Nicklaus.
Yes.
And that's why Jack Nicklaus loves him.
Loves him very much.
He said, and these guys were playing up to Jack and saying, oh, he's like you, and Nicklaus is, his head's that big. But he always goes for the center of the green. He walks away. He only had one
center
bogey.
Of the fairway,
One bogey.
Yeah.
In 4 rounds.
Wow. And it was in that round on Saturday. It was on the round, I think, on Saturday.
Yeah, one.
No.
Sunday, I think.
Sunday. It was Sunday.
He had the bogey on Sunday. But that other kid, Griffin, down 5.
He lived in the rough. He was living in the rough the whole time.
But he was down 5 with 5 holes to play. Then he eagled and then birdied, and he's only down 2 with 2 holes to play. It was fun to watch, but, you know, if you're a gambling person, you'd say, I'm putting my money on Scheffler.
Yeah.
Because he's so steady, and he never shows anything, whether he's over here, over there. He never is. I mean, not much.
He's like this. But you know what? He's like that off the course, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, you see what happened with this kid? It's funny. You don't know probably what happened. He's walking off, and he does this all the time, and his wife comes out, gives him a kiss, and she's got the baby, and she looks at him, and she says, oh, he's got poop all over him in the back. Oh. She said, I'm sorry for having to hand it to you. And he goes like this. He goes, this is why this kid, everybody loves him. He goes, oh, that's okay. They do that. Meaning kids.
They poop.
Yeah, he's only a year old.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he's taken over as the quintessential type of person that people love.
Gravitate to, yes.
You know, because he's a great golfer, but he also seems like a humble,
not a phony,
decent person.
Not a phony.
Exactly.
You know, Phil Mickelson, phony. Rory McIlroy, not a phony. You know, who else would you say was a phony?
I wouldn't say Mickelson. Mickelson was what he was.
Woods, phony.
No.
Woods, phony.
No. What Tiger Woods was a product of
ultra
his
competitor.
father.
Yeah.
And he didn't know the difference between what other people were doing to what he was. He was told what to. He's tremendous in terms of following what he needed to do to be a winner. And same thing with Scheffler.
Yeah.
You know, when he leaves and he had a bad round, even they interview him and he'll say stuff like this. There's so many things that I can do better. Yeah. Meanwhile, he's 5 strokes ahead of everybody else.
Ben Crenshaw, not a phony.
No. I mean, a lot of the old timers where Tom Watson wasn't a phony.
You know, and you know what Ben Crenshaw and Scotty Scheffler share in common?
What, Texas?
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Well,
right there.
See, and I go, well, Scheffler's a Jersey boy. Anyways.
But it'll be interesting to see how he does with the U.S. Open coming up here. Yeah. It'll be coming up soon. But
he makes it interesting. See, golf almost needs a Scheffler.
Yeah.
You know, because when you look at the field and you go, there's 6 or 7 guys that could win. I don't know any of them. When you go, Scheffler, Tiger Woods, and Nicholas Palmer.
I tell you what, though, you know, Bradley is going to rely upon him in the Ryder Cup big time.
Oh, yeah. Well.
He's going to rely upon him in the Ryder Cup. All righty, everybody. That's going to do it for us this week. We're so glad you could join us. We look forward to having you next time here on Steppin' Up to the Plate. Take care, everyone. We'll see you then.